1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose, you better
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. In the event you happen to like this video, definitely be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you'll be notified ASAP, and you can catch up on it whenever you're ready. Also, if you like to binge watch, you want to catch up on some of my older stories, go to my YouTube playlist. You'll see I have my stories organized in different categories, and I guarantee you'll definitely find something that you like. Now, let's hop right up into this video. Now, out here in California, and I'm sure in many other states as well, you've had Mexicans and blacks living amongst each other in the same community for the longest of times, right? We definitely have embraced and adopted a lot of each other's culture, and I believe we have more similarities than we have differences, right? And so I think sometimes it's good to try to focus on that. So I'm gonna go all the way back to around 1988 when the movie Colors was released. Now, keep in mind, this is way before YouTube, social media, and stuff like that. So at that time, the releasing of the movie Colors was an extremely big thing because it was depicting the California gangbanging life. And a lot of people was worried that it was gonna show this life, take this life to different states and communities, and it would cause gangbanging to spread to their city, state, community, so on and so forth. But right after the movie dropped, look what this former gangbanger had to say about certain things in the movie.
But from the movie Colors, the whole movie is wrong. You know, it's Bloods against the Crips, but we not having war with Hispanics though. Like in the movie Colors, it don't go like that. True, like it's Hispanics against Hispanics, blacks against blacks. But the movie don't make it look like that.
Oh, okay.
I feel that the movie is dealing with the expense of our lives, because after Colors, it's gonna be more deaths in the streets of LA.
What he was elaborating on and sharing his displeasure about, certain scenes in the movie was depicting beef between Hispanic gangs and black gangs. And he was unhappy with that because back in those days, there was no or very little beef between Hispanic gangs and black gangs, period. What he's saying is the black gangs beef with the black gangs and the Hispanic gangs beef with the Hispanic gangs. Actually, back in those days, anybody that's close to my age or my generation can probably remember growing up having many Hispanic friends and vice versa. You know, for the most part, there was no beef. Now, of course, from time to time, there might be a fight between a black dude and a Hispanic dude, and maybe a couple of their friends jumped in. But for the most part, there was no overall beef. The gangs back then in those days lived in close proximity, shared sometimes the same parties, the same parks, the same playgrounds. And actually back in those days, you had a few gangs who actually claimed the same gang, but they operated as different entities, such as the Watts Barrio Grape and Grape Street.
What's up? Southside, Eastside. I'm an OG from WVG. Watts Barrio Grape Street, 213. Southside, Eastside, that's how we roll. GIP, gangsta chrome, baby, low Kenny Crow. Purple rag flagging, Grape Street, Watts tagging. From Watts to New York, we all bagging. The only hood in LA with two different cultures. Mexicans and blacks, and we how you approach us.
And you have a similar situation in Riverside with the Casablanca Reefers and the Casablanca Gangster Crips. With many of these Mexican and black gangs being familiar with each other and aware of each other, of course it's no coincidence that they started to dress alike, was influenced by the same style of dress, wore the same type of clothes. Now you'll have some people say that the Mexicans influenced the type of baggy clothes and it came from the zoot suits. And you'll have some people say that the blacks influenced it and the zoot suits was actually influenced by the jazz culture and the clothes they wore back then. Who really knows? But there's one factual thing, and that is you definitely had Mexicans and blacks embracing the same type of dress code. Not only was the style of clothing copied and mimicked from each other, we also borrowed words and stuff like that as well. Now, the word loc is a word that is heavily used in the Crip community. You know, a lot of people don't realize at one point in time, it was also used by the Bloods. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember DJ Quick's song called My Loped Out Hood. Now, the word loc is a shortened word of the word loco, borrowed from the Mexicans, of course, which means crazy. Another thing copied and borrowed from Mexicans by blacks was the love of low riding. Now, you may have some people out there who associate low riding with blacks due to the way it was heavily used in rap culture in the late 80s and the early 90s. But no, of course, actually, low riding was something that was invented by Mexicans. Most historians on the culture of low riding will say that low riding was invented in Southern California. You will have some that say it was invented in New Mexico or San Antonio, Texas. Nevertheless, it definitely was invented by Mexicans. I believe it was invented in the mid to late 40s. You had some Mexicans who liked to drive slow, cruise, and show off their car. They also found and developed ways to lower the car. Some of the ways was by cutting the coils, lowering the blocks. Some of them even put sandbags or cement in the back to lower the back end of the car when they was cruising to give it a nice look. In some of these cities, eventually, the police began to target these lowriders, and they even came up with a ban to try to stop them from lowriding. And so that ban was a California section vehicle code, and what it prevented was any part of the car being lower than the rim. So as the story goes, you had a dude by the name of Ron Aguirre, who was actually from Rialto, California. He would always get pestered and hounded by this one cop for lowriding. So after constantly being hounded and given tickets by the same officer, he came up eventually with a system to raise and lift his car at will. So after he tried a few other options, he eventually decided and settled on, with the help of his father, getting the hydraulic system from a B-52 bomber and installing it in his car. After going to several car shows throughout Southern California showing off his car, many people saw it, they liked his idea, and they emulated it. After some point in time, some historians say the early 60s, you had many blacks started to fall in love with the lowriding culture and get lowriders themselves. Lowriders eventually became synonymous with West Coast rap, as often seen in West Coast rap videos by everybody from Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, The Game, Dr. Dre, the list goes on and on. Another art form that was heavily embraced by blacks and Mexicans was the art of breakdancing. Even though breakdancing was created on the East Coast by blacks, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, so on and so forth, of course it made its way out here to the West Coast, and you would have a lot of us who would breakdance, pop lock, so on and so forth. And last but not least, one of the things that I think that's definitely been embraced the most by all cultures is rap music, of course, which we know originated on the East Coast. And even though we know rap music was created by blacks, almost from the inception of rap music, you've always had Latins, Puerto Ricans, Spanish, and Mexicans who embraced rap early. And so while you may have some immature people out there saying to other people, stop stealing my culture by trying to rap, or stop stealing my culture by driving lowriders, the truth of the matter is, man, we've all enjoyed and embraced other things from other cultures. And in my opinion, we actually have more similarities than we have differences. For the longest, like I said earlier, we have grew up in the same communities among and around each other. And if we just accept the fact that it's okay to embrace other parts of other people's culture, it would eliminate a lot of the things that some people like to have useless verbal discussions about. Anyway, you already know who it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.